The entire market is currently in a massive bloodbath. Although we saw this coming, but we never knew the exact day it was going to happen. I was expecting the correction to begin on Friday, but we began on Wednesday because I specifically drew you guys' attention to this BTC dominance bounce. And I told you guys the moment we are approaching this level, which is a breaker, a previous bullish breaker that failed, altcoins are going to bleed. If you're paying attention to the Toshi chart on the 4-hour time frame and also the PENGU chart on the 4-hour time frame, PENGU is showing some strength here. Likewise to the PENGU RSI, the RSI is sitting directly on the 50% level. A breakdown below the 50% levels would mean further price drop. When PENGU broke above this resistance, we got the massive send to the upside, like I said in the previous video. And then the crash in the market made PENGU to retrace as well to this breaker right here. We got a bounce from that breaker, but the PENGU price is still retracing to that breaker. Now, if that breaker doesn't hold, then we should expect the PENGU to retest around 0.034 zone. We are currently trading around 0.038 level. If you're paying attention to the Toshi price as well, I think Toshi lost momentum, but this momentum is now presenting herself as an entry opportunity, because if you're paying attention to the RSI is far below the 50% level, indicating the Toshi price is in the oversold territory. RSI is currently seated at 37.34%. That is to say, Toshi has presented an entry opportunity for whoever is looking to get an entry. And like I said in the previous video, I specifically drew the entry level for you guys, which is around 0.0005887. What happened after then? When Toshi came there, we dipped briefly below it, still around the, the order block level, dipped briefly below it, but closed that candle above that level, held above that level. The Toshi price is currently holding strong above the level. So sooner or later, we should get it back. But the thing is, we now have a resistance around 0.000655. That is to say, if Toshi is approaching that resistance with a less volume, then we are going to get a massive drop from there further to the downside. But considering the RSI, let's compare the RSI real quick. The, relative strength index, the momentum. Let's compare it with the price. Now, the previous high was around 73.74% for the Toshi RSI. And if you're paying attention to the price, the previous high for that RSI equation was around 0.007639. That is to say, if the Toshi price, the Toshi RSI should recover from this oversold territory back to this previous high of the overbought territory, then definitely we are going to take out this previous resistance for the price of Toshi. Because some of those altcoins took out the previous resistance, but Toshi failed to do that due to low trading volume. If you guys paid attention very, very well in the previous video, I told you guys, I specifically drew your attention to a potential correction. I told you guys the Ethereum USD pair RXI on the daily time frame has approached an overbought territory. And when that happened, we might get a correction from there. I specifically told you guys the Ethereum RSI on the daily time frame is indicating we have tapped into an overbought territory, which is signaling a reversal to the downside. A reversal on the trend of Ethereum. And if you are also going back to the Ethereum chart on the daily time frame, you would notice same thing is happening with the price action. The price has just tapped into a clean and obvious bearish order block here, and also another bearish order block here. So when we tapped into the overbought territory, we went as high as 87.81%. We corrected aggressively to the downside below 76%. Likewise to the price of Ethereum. I told you guys in that video that the price of Ethereum has approached a bearish order block, and when price approaches bearish order block, which we have multiple bearish order block around that zone. This is a massive bearish order block, another bearish order block here, another bearish order block here. So Ethereum pumped slightly into it and then got a rejection from the final order block. When that rejection happened, altcoin bled. And if you're paying attention, I specifically drew you guys' attention to the BTC dominance chart on the daily time frame as well. I think then the BTC dominance was still getting a bounce on this candle. And I told you guys, if we are not getting the rejection from around 61.3%, something like that, then we should expect the BTC dominance to reject from around 62.16%. So we got to as high as 62.49% and then got a slight rejection to the downside. Now, the reason why the altcoin market bled like hard was because of the bounce the BTC dominance got. And I specifically told you guys that if the BTC dominance on the daily time frame is getting a bounce, then altcoins are going to bleed a little. Now, if this pump should continue for the BTC dominance, we should expect a resistance around 61.43% and also 62.16%. So if the BTC dominance is pumping further to 62.16%, then we should expect altcoin to retrace further a little bit. Area the BTC dominance pumped to also align with this resistance area. Expect a bull mode by the time we start entering August 5th. We should rally hard for the rest of the month of August. And then we are going to get a local top towards the end of September. And if I'm not mistaken, BTC should get to around $140,000 by then. I might be wrong, but I think the BTC price is going to get to $40,000 before the end of September. The current price is trading at around $118,000. And we've been ranging for a while now. Look at the 1 hour time frame. BTC has been ranging between the $120,000 and $116,000. We have over $266 million worth of liquidity on Binance, around $115,636, and also $115,100. That is to say, sooner or later, the CME gap I showed you guys in the previous video is going to get filled. So if that correction is happening, we should expect BTC to briefly dip into the zone of around $114,000 for the BTC price.